Hi everyone, my name is Floof. Welcome to my channel where I like to talk about gene stealer cults, and let me tell you, oh boy, did we just get the best attachment that I have seen gene stealer cults get this entire edition. I am so excited. Let's go ahead and get into the final day. Go ahead and roll the intro. All right, everyone. So let's just hop into it. Gotta get my real YouTuber accent going. Let's work on that, boy. All right, detachment, final day. I love it. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Oh my god, it sounds so cool. I love it. Let's go ahead. I'm just gonna be reading off of this here because there certainly are a lot of words. We're doing a full review, and then I'll just be putting stuff here, wherever it just kind of fits to help you guys read along with me. Okay. Now to start off, I want to start with the very technically the second detachment rule we get, but it's kind of essential to know going forward. Okay, so the Star Children's Blessings. You can include Tyranid Vanguard Invader units, excluding Aircraft Broodlord and Genestealer units, in your army. The combined point cost of such units depends on your battle size. For us, the relevancy one, because I only talk about 2k point games, is Strike Force, which is up to 1000 points. If you play at Incursion level, you get 500. If you play Onslaught, 1500. Cool, great. Also note, no Tyranid models can be your warlord for this army. Fantastic. Already, we're getting access to some of the best data sheets in Tyranids right now. We're getting access to Lictors. We're getting access to Gargoyles. We're getting access to just stuff that also really compounds with a lot of the things that we've just got going on. Overall, I think this is going to be really sweet. Now, second thing, we got our basically second and third detachment rule going on. First off, we've got Psionic parasitism. Who knows? Paroxysm, sure. At the end of the movement phase, for each Tyranid Synapse unit from your army, you can select one friendly Genestealer cult unit, excluding Genestealers in the Patriarch, and one friendly Tyranids unit, each within 9 inches of and visible to the Synapse unit. If you do, that Genestealer cult unit from your army suffers D3 plus 1 mortal wounds, and one model from the selected Tyranid unit regains up to that many lost wounds, and until the start of your next movement phase, each time a model in the selected Tyranid unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. What does that even mean? Basically, I have a Synapse unit. That Synapse unit can target itself or another Tyranid unit within 9, and then it goes and it looks at some Genestealers and it goes, I'm gonna eat you. Now, great, I've just eat you. Now I'm gonna either heal whatever Tyranid unit I selected, and I'm also gonna give them +1 to hit. Cool, fantastic, love to see it. I don't know if it's gonna come up super often, but if you're bringing like a Flyrant or anything like that, and he's wounded, perfect unit for this to work on. I love it. Also, it's just good for a +1 to hit aura. If I've just got some cultists hanging around, boom, now 20 Gargoyles have +1 to hit, or 6 Von Ryan Leapers are hitting on 2s. It's pretty nice. Now, however, unlike Brood Brothers, we actually are able to buff both sides of the plate. We're not just buffing one side. It's not just guard buffing GSC and nothing else. This is GSC buffing Tyranids, but wait, now we have a way to have Tyranids buff GSC as well in Catalyst, a 6-inch aura that says, while an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit, each time a friendly Genestealer cult unit makes an attack that targets the enemy unit, add 1 to the hit roll. This is an aura that all of your Tyranid units will have when they're leading this army. This is fantastic. It supplements a lot of the damage that you might get from other detachments and really just makes it very crystal clear. Essentially, your Tyranids want to be next to the enemy, and when they are, your Genestealer cult units go, fantastic, I'm gonna shoot even harder because I want to prove to the angels that I am someone worth their divinity. Overall, fantastic, love it. Let's go over real quick into the enhancements. Just gonna go through these real quick. First off, Synaptic Augur for 15 points on a Tyranid model only. Each time the bearer would regain 1 or more lost wounds from the Psionic detachment rule, it regains up to twice that number of lost wounds instead. Fantastic once again for the Flyrant. If you happen to hurt like 2 or 3 neophytes, well, now you're healing 4 or 6 or 8 wounds overall. I think this is fantastic. However, I think it's going to be kind of outclassed by an enhancement we're going to get into. Let's just go right now. Vanguard Tyrant, 25 points. Winged Hive Tyrant model only. Improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons equipped by their bearer by 1. This is fantastic. The reason being is that normally for Tyranids, because they are not the army faction you are playing in this game, you do not get access to Synapse normally. Synapse in the buffs that you still get the keywords, but you don't get the Battle Shock affecting aura, and you don't get the +1 strength in melee. And so normally if you just run a Flyrant, he would actually be strength 9, AP 2, damage 3. Whereas in the Tyranid army, he's actually strength 10. However, with this enhancement, you brought up not only to strength 10, but AP 3. It's almost like you're getting a pseudo Ridge Runner buff in here because he normally can't be affected by the Ridge Runner buff, right? So overall, I think this is fantastic. If you're taking a Flyrant, I think you're taking this. And then if you're taking a second one, that's where you might take Synaptic Augur. I don't really like Synaptic Augur on like anything else that it could fit on. A Winged Tyranid Prime just doesn't have enough wounds. Maybe a Death Leaper, but I also don't think it's really worth it there. I don't see why you'd want that, but who knows? Totally up to you. Continuing along, those are the only enhancements that can go on Tyranid models. Now let's go ahead and talk about the ones that can go on Genestealer Cult models. With one of the most important ones, real quick, Enraptured Damnation, 10 points. Genestealer Cult model only. Enemy units cannot use the Fire Overwatch stratagem to shoot at the bearer's unit. This is fantastic. I love this. I think this is something that's like an auto include on like a Patriarch. You just have 10 Genestealers in a Patriarch that just your opponent isn't able to react to in terms of their shooting or overwatches or anything like that. GSC has a real paper thin problem, so there's a lot of times where your opponent, if they have a good overwatch, you just kind of have to sacrifice a unit to get a good unit in. This just says, I don't care. I'm going to touch you with the Patriarch and the Genestealers, and I think it's an auto take. It also might be funny later on, maybe with a Biophagus and like 10 Metamorphs or something like that, if that's the package you want to deliver. Or maybe even like 10 Aberrants, right? Being led by a character. That could be really great. Overall, I think your list starts at 1990 because 10 points is set to this enhancement and based on what character you want to bring. Continuing on, Inhuman Integration, 20 points. Genestealer Cult's model only. Weapons equipped by the model and the bearer's unit have the sustained hits 1 ability while targeting an enemy unit within 6 of 1 or more friendly Tyranids units. But Floof, you ask, isn't there something else that benefits when I'm within 6 inches of a Tyranid unit? Yes, actually, you get +1 to hit. So you get +1 to hit and sustained hits for whatever unit this is, so long as the Tyranid unit is within 6 inches of whatever the heck you're hitting. That's fantastic. That's quite good. Like, oh my god, I love that. Overall, I think Enraptured Damnation and Inhuman Integration are auto take enhancements. Both these are absolutely phenomenal. If you take a Flyrant, then take Vanguard Tyrant. These are very strong enhancements that are worth their weight in biomass. Now, let's go ahead and get on into the stratagems. First off, we've got Hyperferocity. When in the fight phase, target 1 Genestealer Cult's units from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Effect. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, reroll a wound roll of 1. If a Tyranid unit is within 6 inches of that enemy unit, full rerolls to wound. Bloof. Isn't there something else that cares about being within 6 inches? Yes, you get +1 to hit. If you have an enhancement, you have sustained hits. Now also 1 CP full wound rerolls. Hey, just off chance, do you think the Patriarch would like this? Just hear me out real quick. Yes, everything already hits on 2s. There is, however, a lot of stuff that can just kind of mess with your melee to where it gives you -1 to hit, or maybe Death Guard's giving you -2 to hit or anything like that, and you just go, nope, I'm always going to kind of ensure that it's on 2s. Against Death Guard, I'm at least on 3s. I have sustained hits, and now the Patriarch has given all of my models dev wounds, and I have a billion attacks. Maybe, just maybe, I would like to reroll all of my wounds to fish for some more dev wounds. I think that'd be really cool. So I love this strat. I think it's amazing. It helps out Aberrants. It helps out Tacos. Like, Tacos are crazy in this. For those that don't know, Tacos heavy mining Tool Acolytes. Tool Acolytes. That's where you get the little taco thing. These are amazing in there because your strength 5 anti-vehicle 4 up, but that's just kind of inconsistent sometimes. Your damage 3 AP 2, possibly up to AP 3. Giving wound rerolls to this makes it very real in being able to handle like vehicles, high toughness knights, monsters even, or just like 3 wound infantry. I think this is phenomenal. Overall, fantastic stratagem. I think this really helps define the detachment as a whole, but we've still got 5 more stratagems to keep going. So let's keep it rolling. Next up, Psi Surge. Start of any phase, target 1 Tyranids unit from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, increase the range of units' catalyst ability by 3 inches. Each time you use this stratagem until the end of your next command phase, you cannot use this stratagem again. Basically, this is a way to cover yourself if like maybe your shooting was too hard, or there was like reactive moves or something like that, and someone gets just outside of that 6 inches, but you really still want that +1 to hit, along with maybe Hyperferocity to give you the full wound rerolls. 1 CP, that 6-inch aura +1 to hit, and just being within. Oh wait, no, it wouldn't give you the wound rerolls or anything like that. This is only affecting the +1 to hit for your Genestealer Cult units. It goes to a 9-inch bubble. Sure, totally fine. I think it's good. Very simple, very easy to do. I think it just helps ensure to where if any kind of weird things happen and you might not have been playing perfectly, then you're still kind of covered. So overall, good strat. Continuing on though, we've got Avenge the Star Children. When in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has shot or fought, target 1 Tyranid character unit from your army that was just destroyed by the enemy unit this phase. You can use the stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. And the effect is until the end of the battle, each time a Genestealer Cult model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, add 1 to the hit roll and 1 to the wound roll. I love this. This is fantastic. We have a lot of cheap infiltrating characters in Tyranids, whether it's the Death Leaper, whether it's... Okay, I think it's just kind of the Death Leaper. But we've got some fun, fast moving infantry as well, with... Either you've got the Reaper of Obliterax, the Winged Tyranid Prime, sure. The Wing and Hive Tyrant. If someone takes that out and a big unit took it out, well, hey, +1 to hit, +1 to wound against that. Maybe I'm infiltrating. Maybe I'm playing against Thousand Suns. And turn 1, I was able to be like, huh, you know what would be funny? Dying to Magnus. And so you go and charge Magnus. Maybe do a wound, who cares, who knows. But then now your whole army is +1 to hit and +1 to wound against that special little guy. You know, I just think it's cool. I think it's swell. I think it also can put your opponent in really awkward spots in terms of maybe they don't want to kill the character with their Death Star unit, so they're kind of being weird about it and trying to just, you know, plink them off with something else, but then you're forcing the issue. Who knows? Either way, I think it's a cool stratagem. Moving on, however, we have Divine Imperative, which is used in your charge phase, targeting 1 Genestealer Cult unit from your army that is not declared a charge this turn, and the effect is select 1 enemy unit with engagement range of 1 or more Tyranid units from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time your Genestealer Cult unit declares a charge, if that enemy unit is one of the targets of that charge, add 1 to the charge rolls made for your unit, and you can reroll charge rolls. It's alright. It's decent. It's basically your CP rerolling the charge before you do it, but by doing so, you get +1 to charge. Sure, fine, why not? It's okay. I don't love it. I don't think it's like the best, but you know, it's nice. If I have a lot of extra CP, maybe I want to guarantee my Aberrants are getting into something, or my Rock Grinders getting into something. Sure, why not? Lastly, my favorite stratagem. Hey, let's pump the brakes real quick. Hi, editing floof here. Current past future floof, forgot one of the stratagems. Starting attacks, use it either in your shooting phase or your charge phase until the end of the phase. A Tyranid unit, the one that you select, is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. So if you use it in your shooting phase, the Tyranid unit can fall back and shoot. If you use it in your charge phase, the Tyranid unit that has fallen back can charge again. It's okay. I don't really see using this, especially for the shooting thing. Well, like a Flyrant can use the fallback and charge, which I think is fun, but it's okay. It's alright. Some lists are going to like it, some lists aren't going to care. If you bring like only Gargoyles and Lictors, I don't think you'll care. But either way, it's nice. Okay, go watch the rest of the video. The best thing, the greatest thing, the thing that should be in all Genestealer Cult detachments, Resistance Tunnels. 1 CP. By the way, all these are 1 CP. End of your opponent's fight phase. Target 1 Genestealer Cult or Tyranids unit from your army that is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units. Remove your unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. This is fantastic. This is everything. I love it. Oh my god, there's so many GSC units that love this. There's so many Tyranid units that love this. Gargoyles think this is hilarious. Anything in GSC or Tyranids thinks this is hilarious. I love this strat. It's phenomenal. It's great. It's overall, I think this detachment is probably one of, if not the strongest detachments that GSC has access to. I still love Host of Ascension. I still think Brood Surge is phenomenal. But the thing is this detachment not only comes with solid rules within the detachment between enhancements, the detachment rule itself, and then access to some fantastic stratagems, but it also essentially looks at the Tyranid line and gives us some of the strongest data sheets that they have. We're not taking biovores, we're not taking exocrines, we're not taking anything else, which is, sure, a bummer, but we still have access to lictors, which are some of the best lone ops in the entire game. Gargoyles, which are some of the best move blocking units ever. They move so fast. They have fire and fade. They have fly. They're infantry. Oh my god, what the heck? They're so good. I think there's some real strength in this army, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. You can buff up so much of your damage in GSC with this. It's not limited to a distance like it is in Brood Brothers Auxiliary. It's not limited to like only buffing infantry or like set units like, oh, it's an aberrant, a pure strain, or a biophages unit that gets all these buffs like it's in Brood Surge or anything like that, or oh, you have to come from reserves to get the Host of Ascension one. It's just put a Tyranid, you know, put a good unit that is really fast and either has infiltrate or it fly or some type of way to get to your opponent. Just put them near your guy, play the game, walk towards your opponent, and you get +1 to hit and a bunch of other stuff. Overall, I think this detachment is so cool. Video is actually coming out a little bit later because I stayed up to record this video at like 4 in the morning, right? Because I'm West Coast, so record the video. And then I just went and list built for like 3-4 hours. And then I came back, went to go edit the video, and was like, ugh, I was a sleepy little guy. So you know what? We're just going to re-record this and put it back out. So with that being said, I've got some funny lists. Okay, so first list I made was actually, it was a pretty mixed list. I don't know. I think you can go a little, you can kind of bring whatever you want in this, but to start off, I'm just gonna go down the list. We've got, this was my first one, right? Yeah. Death Leaper, Parasite, 4 10-mans of Gargoyles, a Lictor, 2x3 of Raveners, and that's it for the Tyranid side. Oh, did anyone have enhancements over here? No. I was using new recruit for this, so I couldn't have like set out my enhancements, but whatever. Stick with me. On the GSC side, we've got a Benefictus, we've got a Biophages, and we've got a Patriarch. In terms of other units, we have a 5-man Acolytes with auto pistols. We've got 2 5-mans with hand flamers, a 10-man Neophyte squad, a 20-man Neophyte squad, 10 hybrid metamorphs, 10 pure strain gene stealers, a truck, 2 laser ridge runners, and a mortar ridge runner. We have the sustained hits enhancement on the Benefictus, and then on the Patriarch we have the ignore Overwatch enhancement. And I think this just slaps. Oh my god, I love this so much. Laser ridge runners would be hitting on 2s because the spotter makes your ballistic skill 3+, correct? And then you have +1 to hit, so now you're on 2s. So now your casino cannons, you know, maybe you're the house because the house always wins, and please just don't roll 1s. You're able to spike a little bit more and roll hot, which I really like. Also, just shout out real quick to Rock Grinders being in melee, hitting on 2s, and shooting, hitting on 3s. I think these guys also really love this detachment as well. Overall, I think it's sick. But anyways, getting back to this list, you've got a Goliath truck. Most times the bio meta brick is going to be in there, right? That way they can get out, have a bunch of hand flamers that are re-rolling wounds because the truck probably shot at whatever they shot at as well. And at AP1, so you do a bunch of damage here, and then you charge in, and oh hey, I'm next to Gargoyles because of course I am, so now all of my stuff is re-rolling wounds as well, and you just kind of eat the unit, right? You've got lethal hits, It's disgusting. And then pure strains, you just have a 10-man with the patriarch infiltrated pretty aggressively up, and you just go eat whatever you want. Just go sprint at people. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love this unit. You can kind of help screen out your midboard with these guys as well, and the lictor that's in the list. And overall, I think it's super good. Lastly, I've got a Benefactus with the Neophytes. The Benefactus is going to have the sustained hit stratagem, and just with 20 Neos, you've got lethal, you've got sustained, you've got maybe +1 to hit and wound. Who knows, right? I love it. It's a great unit. Overall, I think it is. I mean, it reminds me of Host, to be honest. If you tag something with the Mortar Ridge Runner that has Survey Augur on it, and you take away their cover, now you're basically a Host of Ascension drop that's just in a different detachment. That's super cool. Overall, I think this list plays really cool, but however, there is the older brother of the list, which is just sicker and has guitar riffs play when it enters the room, and actually looking at it now, it's just pretty similar. But anyways, let's go over it real quick. We got a Death Leaper, we got a Winged Hive Tyrant with the enhancement for the +1 strength, +1 AP, 2 10-mans of Gargoyles, 2 Lictors, a squad of Raveners, 6 Von Ryan Leapers because these models look absolutely sick, Patriarch with no Overwatch, of course, a 5-man of Auto Pistols, 3 5-men of Hand Flamers, 10-man Neophyte Squad, 20-man Neophyte Squad, 10 Metamorphs, 10 Pure Strains, the same Ridge Runner combination in a truck. Basically the same thing, except you go, hey, I really like cool models, so I'm going to take the Death Leaper, so I'm going to take the Winged Hive Tyrant, so I'm going to take the Von Ryan Sleepers, and I'm just going to shove at my opponent. Now, looking at this right now, I really did make these lists at 5 in the morning when I got an hour of sleep. That's fantastic. I think, however, now that I've been able to look at the detachment a little bit more, Aberrants are phenomenal. They hit on 2s when next to Tyranid units. Their strength is still good, however, giving them access to full wound rerolls at AP2, possibly AP3, damage 2, and just smacking them, giving them resistance tunnels to be able to go back up when they need to be on another side of the board is really gross. Darting attacks also helps them in that, to where maybe you just go for an 8-inch charge out of Deep Strike, full rerolling, you know? Who knows? I think as well, just bringing some cheap characters in the Tyranid side, maybe not going super heavy with it, but just being able to take like the Parasite. The Parasite I think is fine. It's a neat little lone op, and then when you're ready for it, you just go run it at someone and it just pops and gives your whole army +1 to hit and +1 to wound for the remaining turns after it dies. You could probably also do the same thing with the Death Leaper. Entirely up to you, right? So overall, I think it's fantastic. However, I would not be me if I did not have the greatest list idea of all time. Chad, are you ready to really ascend? Listen, there is something here that we need to talk about, okay? There is an ability here, there is a moment, there is a chance in time to where we can look ourselves in the face. We can look into a mirror and really judge whether we really do serve the 4-armed Emperor, or if we're just heretical cowards, not ready to ascend to the challenge, to ascend to the beings that they know that we can be. Do you want to fail the angels? No, I don't think you do. I don't either. I think you want to be the best cultist that you can be. So you know what we're doing? We're building a list with only one character. What's that character? Sanctus. He's our warlord. Why? Needed him? Cheap. Shut up. 4 5-mans of acolytes with hand flamers. 2 Achilles Ridge Runners with mortars and survey augurs, because we hit on 5s. We don't care. Actually, we hit on 4s because the other stuff would be near it. Oh, that's actually amazing. Oh, you just take survey augurs all the time. Sorry, I interrupted the bit. Anyways, are you ready? Are you ready for the real sauce? 100 gargoyles! 100 neophytes! That's right. Look at here. Look at me in the eyes. 200 bodies is only 1,500 points. And you have 400 OC. Argos have 2 OC, right? You have 400 OC. Coward. You won't do it. You won't do it. Ugh, my back. Ugh, Are you gonna care about your back when you're a bunch of biomass because your gods ascended you into divinity? I don't think so. Suffer now. Take a couple milligrams of ibuprofen. This is not medical advice. I am not a licensed doctor. And go ahead and do some back stretches before the event. You got this. I got this. We got this. Let us become great brothers and sisters and everything else in between and out of that. That's today's video. You better start collecting gargoyles. You better start collecting some goddamn neophytes. I'll see you on the front lines. Do you want to join a cult? Roll the intro. Outro. It's too goddamn early. I didn't even wake up at the 3:48. I have to relearn Tyranid. What are Vanguard units again? Are Neuros good? Was Neuros good? I know Lictors are insane. Are Neuros worth anything? Oh no, it is low up. Okay. Okay, so I don't get synapse saves. Right? Oh god, what do fucking Raveners do? I don't hate Von Ryans. Maybe I should hate Von Ryans, but I don't hate Von Ryans. This is so good. No. Final day. This is so fucking hype. God, I love it. Okay.